you, Shruti, for joining me with your perspective here. And we move ahead now. Viewers, the US has boosted its military presence in the southern Caribbean, deploying additional troops and drones amid rising tension with Venezuela. The move is seen as part of a broader campaign to remove Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro from power. While initially framed as a response to drug trafficking, meanwhile, the recent statements by US senior officials have confirmed the operation's true objective. However, this escalation comes as the UN Security Council discusses Washington's actions against Caracas, and it has sparked strong condemnation from China and Russia, who oppose the US blockade. The situation has the potential to ignite wider geopolitical conflict. All right, viewers, joining me now in this discussion is Colin Chong-Yu-Keat. He's a foreign affairs and security and strategy analyst. Joins us from University Malaya, Kuala Lumpur. Thank you very much, Mr. Keat, for joining me in this discussion. What's your assessment of the latest reactions that are coming in from China and Russia?
Well, it's a continuous pressure campaign, narrative building by, of course, China and Russia, and seeing how the move by Washington to secure greater power presence in this part of the world will also implicate the geopolitical interests of China in terms of security, in terms of also the sanctity of the supply chain resilience. We have seen how Venezuela and other parts of Latin America have been crucial for Beijing in terms of critical minerals, and this new blockade, so to say, will also have this profound implication for Beijing. And of course, this is being framed by Washington as a necessary measure to counter this narcotic trafficking operations, of course, including strikes on vessels linked to drug smuggling. And of course, this has also amplified pressure on Maduro, and Maduro has sought help from external powers, but we have yet to see the needed in terms of the depth and the level of support being seen. And we have seen how both powers, including Moscow and Beijing, have also expressed reservation in terms of how deep the support system will be, seeing how this has been in the Western Hemisphere. And there have also been some profound changes on the part of the military calculations of Washington, of the Pentagon. We have seen reports of how HEXF has also played with the idea of combining both the Southern and Northern Command in this part of the world, and to be combined as part of the AMERICOM of a unified command center. So this will also change the impact and the power equation in this region. But all in all, we have seen how this might also increase the risk of miscalculations, especially on the part of Maduro, in terms of how he will intend to give these kind of responses to a greater US presence, especially in Venezuela.
Collins, do you also see China, if not Russia, advancing militarily in the region if the US continues its aggression, or do you think it will maintain a strategic restraint?
For the next couple of months, or at least for the early part of next year, we might be able to see some kind of restraint responses by Beijing, knowing full well that this greater power presence in this region, so close to the US, will only mean that it will only invite greater counter responses by the US, and Beijing is cognizant of the fact that this can only be used on certain occasions as part of a pretext or some certain leverage capacities to send a strong message to the US, also to tie that up to the issue of Taiwan and the interests of China in East Asia. But I don't see the kind of deepened presence or this military presence, whether by Russia, whether by China in Latin America. There have been profound economic presence in terms of securing greater supply chain resilience, in terms of securing also the resources needed for China. But this has been countered effectively and brilliantly by Trump in terms of also focusing on this part of the world. And we can see that this move would then be met with meticulous and careful counter responses by Beijing, so as to avoid this prolonged or a deeper entanglement by Beijing in this area.
All right, sure. Thanks, Colin, for your perspective there, but do continue to stay on with me, please. Viewers, moving ahead, let's also tell you that Guinea has voted in a presidential election expected to secure Mamadi's